Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the 4th generation of the Skoda Octavia, the MK4, and it actually looks like a Superb. Let's straight away open the engine bay of this vehicle. It gets hydraulic struts. That is the engine, super duper refined, but there is insulation right there as well. I think they have nailed it with the design of this car. Alright, it actually looks very good in this particular color. The grille is wide. There's a lot of chrome treatment because this of course is the L&K, and you get front parking sensors, you get chrome on the bumper as well, and these are by LED lights. These are all LED units. They get the adaptive function. In fact, it says Skoda crystal lighting. Okay, the indicators are also big enough. Meanwhile, the fog lamp, well, that is LED as well on this car. I definitely like the design of this car, but I think it doesn't suit the Octavia as much as it suits the Superb, this new design language, because this car looks too Superbish and not very Octavia-ish. Okay, I don't even know that makes sense. However, Lord and Clement badging right there. These are aerodynamic alloy wheels. Yeah, aerodynamic alloy wheels. The tire size happens to be 205 55 17s, and you know what? The alloy wheel design could have been better without a doubt. Meanwhile, the car is longer than before. It's also wider than before, and at night, you know what? These mirrors actually project Skoda on the ground. Yeah, they project Skoda on the ground. It gets a keyless entry on all the doors, chrome surrounding the windows, of course. The car is actually quite long. You can see the wheelbase is also quite long. Meanwhile, let's open this. You know why? Because it's a Skoda. It actually should have got, you know what, that scrubbing thing, the green color thing for scrubbing ice. But there is a slot, but it's missing on this particular car. I don't know why. Okay, coming to the rear, my favorite part about this car are the lights. Again, very Superb type lights, not the kind of lights which you see on the Octavia. However, these lights are fantastic. First and foremost, at night when you turn them on, now they actually blink very nicely and excitingly. It gets a dynamic swipe indicator as well, and the boot gets a request sensor, so you can move your leg and the boot also opens. Meanwhile, they haven't done any fake exhaust as such. However, it's storage space below here. I'm just kidding. You can actually keep your phone. Just kidding. You lose it. Don't do that. Okay, very nicely packaged underbody. But thankfully, no fake exhaust on this car. The badging is not there at the rear. But let's open the boot. Very easy to do that. Just press a button here, right there, and there the boot opens. It's an electric tailgate, of course, and the boot is massive. It's bigger by 20 liters when compared to the old Octavia, which was also bigger by 20 liters when compared to the old Octavia, which happened to be the Laura. And talking about Laura, I'll talk about it in a bit. 600 liters of boot space, massive. You get these nets and whatnot. So nice storage compartment for sure. Yeah, there are hooks, handles and whatnot. Okay, just press this button, and there you can actually recline the seat too. So yeah, that's also a nice touch. It's not electric as such because you can't recline back. You have to take effort to put it back into place. But lot of good bits right there. Below here is a space saver spare wheel. No alloy. Sorry about that. Just press this button, and there the boot closes. I like the fact that Skoda has always given a massive boot in the Octavia because this is a lift back, not a traditional sedan. Obviously, you know, the rear windscreen also opens with the boot, and that's the reason why it actually also gets a rear wiper washer in global markets, not for India. Even headlight washers are missing on this car, which was there in the previous Octavias in India as well. Yeah, there you see, that is a reverse parking camera. No, I'm not kidding. It actually does get this thing, the headlight washer, abroad, but not in India. That's kind of disappointing. Let's get to the rear. First and foremost, let me tell you that the doors actually open wide enough, but not Tata Altroz wide. Sorry about that. But still easy ingress and egress. In fact, you know what? You can push this back very effortlessly. Want to bring it down? No problem at all. This is so easy, and the seats are actually comfortable because the wheelbase is longer. Of course, there is good amount of space on offer. In fact, packaging is quite nice. You see, this thing is felted. Yeah, because of the felting, nothing's going to rattle what you keep here. However, some amount of rattling can be felt in this car. I don't know why. Overall design language is really very nice. And here you obviously get a sun blind, which is manually adjustable. There's one here as well, again manually adjustable. Now the rear doesn't have much to talk about as such. First and foremost, let me close the door and listen to this. It closes with a nice thud. Meanwhile, you've got rear AC vents. Of course, there is storage space here and 2 USB-C charging sockets. Now there is a magazine holder and there's a phone holder here as well on both the sides. Meanwhile, there's a hook right there, and it has got 8 braking airbags. Seatbelt gets the height adjust function as well. There's another hook here along with the handle. Lights are here on the top. Again, you can just touch to activate them. In fact, they also get gesture, which I'll show you at the front. Again, hook handle, and you get the usual bits which I was talking about. See, it's actually very comfortable, and because the cabin is actually wide enough, 3 people can sit in, but this hump is like, no baby, no, 3 people are not welcome. That's the reason why Skoda has actually given it a center armrest as well. Now this particular armrest gets cup holders, twin cup holders, coin holder, and a pen holder as well. And you can access the boot from here. That's right, you can actually access the boot. Now you don't want to access the boot if you're carrying long items. You can actually, use this. That's kind of easy to do. Meanwhile, it also gets 1 second, let me close this. What have I done? Yeah, close, and back into place. There is a center headrest though, and all the headrests are adjustable. Now you can just open and close this like that. That's again a nice touch. There is good amount of legroom and knee room on offer. However, under thigh support could have been better, and headroom is, well, just about adequate for someone of my height. Dashboard design looks super duper awesome. Everything is about simplicity yet elegance, which is the motto for the Volkswagen group, but Skoda does some smart bits. Meanwhile, let's open this. Here you can actually recline the seat. 60/40 split seat, practical enough. Isofix child seat mounts at the rear, in the front seat as well, so you can actually put 3 toddlers in this car and go on for a drive. And because the suspension is so smooth, you don't have to worry about disturbing their sleep. Okay, let's get out. Meanwhile, okay, there are no umbrella holders here at the rear, but thankfully they are there at the front. Again, a unique touch. Sorry, Rolls-Royce, but Skoda has also been doing it since quite some time now. Yeah, there is where the umbrella actually goes. This is the umbrella holder, and switchgear quality is nice. Usual affair. Child lock, and you can obviously even lock the power windows as well as the door. From here, you don't have to go into fiddling stuff. It says Octavia right there, just in case you forget. 12-way electric adjust for both the front seats, and you get memory functions. You can save up to 3 people's settings as well. Yeah, I like the fact that Skoda emphasizes so much on ease of comfort and luxury, but unfortunately the position of the engine start stop button is on the wrong place. I mean, I might as well put the key and do it. Okay, these are the controls for the front and rear fog lights, along with the headlight function. You don't get the lever anymore, and yeah, that gets the pedal actually gets some chrome treatment. There's a proper dead pedal there as well. Seats are super duper comfortable. Yeah, I like the seats, they're really very comfortable. And there's another Octavia just passing by, so it's like an Octavia fest happening here right there. In fact, you can press this button to open the boot. Canton sound system, really fantastic. I love the sound of the audio system. Of course, straight away on the inside, I'm like, oh my god, why have they done a 2-spoke steering wheel? Well, almost all Skoda cars are getting the same, but you know what, I don't like it much, because I'm like, this is unfinished business. But the pre-facelift of the Mercedes S-Class, the last generation, also had something similar, and they also got rid of it. There is a toll receipt holder here, but Skoda, now we have got fast tags, we don't need that anymore. Dashboard design looks really very nice. In fact, you get this soft material here, but cannot ignore the hard material which is there on the lower half. In fact, let's open the glove box. Glove box is decent size. Pen holder there, so kind of practical. And the best thing is that Skoda has given this manual. Okay, it has got 2 manuals. One is to save your time, so it has got a Skoda Octavia short guide. I appreciate it. They also realize nowadays TikTok and YouTube shorts and Instagram reels are the go-to thing. People cannot hold attention more than 15 seconds or maybe 30. That's the reason they have got a shorter one. This is 168 pages, so this has more detailed information, but nice graphics. I like the manual of this car. I don't know why I'm reviewing a manual. Let's get back to the car. Now, another thing is that there are only USB-C charging ports. There is not a regular USB charging socket. However, there is one here right there for a dash cam, obviously auto-dimming inside rear view mirror. Now this actually gets gesture control. Yeah, if you notice, my hand is not touching, my fingers are not touching. Okay, it's not the most accurate, but still it works well. You can obviously touch and get a lot of fingerprints right there, but you shouldn't be doing that. In fact, there is a sunglass holder on the top, and there is obviously a mirror along with a light which is there on both the sides. Yeah, there's actually a handle on the driver's side as well. That's kind of slick. I like the fact you get height adjustable seat belts. Why is it so dark all of a sudden? Maybe the light is gone. Okay, electricity. Meanwhile, you get a wireless charging pad, which I think has some amount of air coming from somewhere, but it's gonna heat your phone for sure. I don't think there should be a problem. They have some cooling function somewhere. 2 USB-C charging sockets, and this is the new gear lever, which is kind of funky and nice, but you know what, you can't have the Triptronic function, but it has got paddles. This is the parking, this is to get into park, and obviously it's basic to use. Nice treatment, I like it. But this is the electronic parking brake. This is the auto hold function, and twin cup holders are there, so it slots right into place. This is actually to keep the key of the vehicle, and below the front center armrest there's storage space as well, where I've actually kept my mask and stuff. You can actually slide this ahead and behind just to get your right angle, and the steering wheel obviously is adjustable both for reach as well as rake, which is kind of obvious at this price point. Meanwhile, I like the way they have done this knurled finishing everywhere. It looks super duper premium, of course, and the horn is super duper awesome. Listen to this. Oh my god, that's a freaking amazing horn. In fact, look at the way they have done the treatment on the AC vents as well. So a lot of premium touches. The only problem is that everything is reliant on this touchscreen infotainment system, which happens to be a 10-inch unit. It has got something known as smart AC. Okay, let me turn on the air conditioning, where you can decide you want to warm my feet warm, hands cool, my feet fresher, and whatever. I just get into classic AC to decide how I want the air conditioning to work. And there's air care, which is sort of a air purifier in this vehicle. Let's just turn off climate control. The problem is that you have to do it from here. There are no buttons right there. Okay, you can directly access climate control by pressing this button, which is good. This is for max AC. This is for rear defogger. Meanwhile, this is to lock the vehicle. This is the hazard light, and this is for park assist. Now, it has got front and rear parking sensors, and it has also got park assist, which is basically automatic parking. A little bit cumbersome to use because it doesn't really realize where you're trying to park, and it usually ends up parking in the wrong place. However, you have to be really alert when using the system. That said, okay, you get into the menu. Actually, everything is slick but a little complex. Still easy to understand once you get going, and it's got gesture as well. Okay, look at this. It's got gesture, and this gesture is not as good as the one which you see in BMW cars, but still quite usable here. You see, gesture. Yeah, baby, gesture. I could have done it normally, but why am I having a gesture? I don't know. Okay, I'm sweating a lot. You can see the amount of sweat in this car. However, it's got dual zone climate control, and it's got LoRa inside it. It's basically the assistant system in this car, which is known as LoRa. In fact, yeah, I'll just turn it on and I'll just ask her something. I would say, you know what? Oh, okay, one second. I need to turn on climate control, air conditioning for it to understand it. All these noises keep coming from everywhere. Okay. Hey, Laura. I'm feeling cold.
Please repeat.
I'm feeling cold.
No problem. It will get warmer at the front right shortly.
इसने temperature बढ़ाया कि नहीं? You know what? There's a touch bar here to increase the volume. Yeah, there's a touch bar sort of a thing to increase the volume. This is turn off the system. So yeah, some smart bits. Let's get into reverse right away. This is the reverse parking camera, and it has obviously got adaptive guidelines as well, and there are two views for the same. So here I can actually change the view. There you see the view changes, and obviously it shows you the view here as well. Now let's get into neutral. Let's get into park. Now this is a 10.25-inch virtual cockpit. It's a nice system, but I expected it to be more advanced. Now you can press this button to browse through the various displays. Not many displays as such, but you know what? There's this button. You press this button and you can browse through other information, and there's a plethora of information right there. Same is the case here as well. So press this button, there we get into that side, and you can decide what all you want to see. Now it's got plenty of ambient light colors. So if I get into ambient light colors here into vehicle, it's a little complex, but I like the way the car actually comes. Meanwhile, if you press the set button, now you can get into turning off traction control, which is known as ASI. It's got tire pressure monitoring system as well. So we're just going to get back. Okay, it could have been a little slicker and easier to understand. All the information data since refueling and whatnot you obviously get here, but you know what, in order to turn off traction control, you turn the car there, you get into brakes and their ESC system, and then you turn off traction control. That's a long process. Just have a freaking button to do it so that I can do it much faster. But all the information here in instrument cluster, you can actually decide if you want eco tips. Basically what it tells you is, in case your windows are rolled down, it will tell you roll up your windows for better fuel efficiency, and the likes. If in case the car is on and you're not using it, like you just turn off the car and say fuel. But it's not got a auto stop start system, thank God for that. But although at this price point I would have expected the same. Now these are the ambient light colors. Actually this is not the ambient light color, this is interior light setting. Now in order to get into ambient light colors, here in background lighting is where the ambient light color is there. It's got something like Skoda, winter, summer, and whenever you change this, now it changes even on the instrument cluster of the vehicle. You see ocean, race, and in individual you can actually decide from a slew of colors as well. So here let's get into individual. You see the amount of colors, that's a lot. Actually ambient light works really well on this car. However, that said, I would have expected this car to have a sunroof at least. There is no sunroof in this car, which is going to be priced around 35 lakh rupees. That's surprising and shocking, although the estate version has it. But no sunroof in the L&K is kind of surprising. There's a smart storage space here to keep your cigarettes if you are into those things, so that your wife doesn't come to know about the same. But yeah, in terms of smartness, in terms of storage space, in terms of comfort, luxury, everything, this Octavia is really very nice. In fact, the seats are also very comfortable, and these are actually the control. This is all for the voice command, this is for the audio system volume, and this is to go front and back track as well. So things are actually quite easy and not very complex. In fact, these are the controls for the wipers. Let's use them right away. You see there is plenty of spray on offer. Cleans the windscreen in no time at all, and this is obviously for the cruise control. This lever is for the cruise control as well as for the indicator. Steering is so easy to twirl, and it's kind of surprising, and quality levels are actually quite nice, other than the fact that if you go low down, you're like, oh my god, so many hard plastics in this car, could have been better. But the amount of chrome they've used is surprisingly awesome. The only thing is they shouldn't have called this the L&K, because it doesn't have a sunroof. A sunroof is mandatory without a doubt. Now let's do one thing. Let's listen to the audio system, because it's fantastic. It is a 600 watt system with 12 speakers, which also includes a subwoofer. Let's play an audio right away, which means we have to get into vehicle. There the car comes. Actually, all this is so confusing now. I also sometimes fumble and don't know where I'm heading. However, let's get into menu. Yeah, there it is. Radio media. Let's listen to an audio right away, which means I can use this bar here and audio quality is actually fabulous. Radio quality is kind of sucky. That said, let's get into menu. You see all the menu is absolutely fantastic. It's called assist system. Basically the only assist it has is tells you need to drink a cup of coffee. It is able to identify if you're sleepy or if you're yawning or something of that sort and tell you that okay, now it's time to take a break. So that is the assistance system in this car. You would have expected a lot more at this price point, but this has got Skoda Connect, which is obviously connected car tech, which does all the various things which usually connected car tech does. Not exciting anymore because so many cars have it already. But how is it to drive? Well, that is where this car has actually changed a lot, and maybe you might not like it. And by the way, you don't need the manual at all because it has a digital manual. Yeah, that's right. It has got a digital manual which actually shows you everything in a very nice way. This is very slick. I love it because when you're confused, you can just go here rather than removing that physical manual. Meanwhile, what I don't like is that tachometer part is always covered in showing some display. So if you open the door there, it's going to show you like it's just going to block the tachometer every time, which actually it does even when you use launch control. So when you use launch control and you go full throttle till almost 60 kilometers per hour, the tachometer is gone and vanished. And as soon as you hit 80 kilometers per hour, the speed warning comes, so that also vanishes. So the tachometer in this car is there yet not there. All right, we are all set to go, which means first and foremost we need to turn off the air conditioning off. Yeah, completely off. And we're going to turn off traction control, which means I'm going to get into the menu. I can press the set button here. ASR off, traction control is deactivated. Let's get back into the menu. Let's turn on the vehicle display. Yeah, there the car comes. It's really nice. Get into drive mode, get into sport. Yeah, I'm already in sport. Turning off the hazard lights, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, launch control program active. Yeah, it has got launch control, which works very well because this is something which is even there in the Superb as such. Around the corners, let me tell you that I'm a bit disappointed because the suspension is just freaking soft. Yeah, the suspension is really very soft, which is good for ride quality, but in terms of handling, this doesn't have the same level of charm as its predecessor, but we'll come to that in a bit. Acceleration is absolutely fantastic because this is the 2-liter TSI motor, which obviously powers a slew of Volkswagen Group cars, including Audis, Volkswagens, Skodas, of course, Superb, for the Tiguan, Allspace and whatnot. And this engine needs no introduction. Now this one is producing 190 horsepower. Meanwhile, the torque output happens to be 320 Newton meters. This engine is so fantastic now. There is no flat spot whatsoever. Turbo lag is very well contained, and throughout the full rev range, there is just acres of grunt and even more grunt on offer. That is the level of performance. In fact, you can get into manual mode by pressing either of the pedals, and in manual mode you realize that it's just pointless because the gearbox is so good that you do not need to use manual mode at all. Now this is a 7-speed DSG. It's a dual clutch unit, very fast with shifts. The only disappointing part with this engine is that it doesn't rev as much, so it redlines below 6,000 RPM. That's disappointing, but it's a very free revving motor, and the sound of this engine is also very nice indeed. Brisk acceleration, and this car will go above 220 kilometers per hour. That is the level of performance from this engine, and braking performance is obviously fantastic because this car's got a slew of braking systems, right from MBA, MKB, HBA and whatnot. I don't even know how to expand those acronyms right now, but you get my gist. Changing the cluster mode, and here we go again. It just loves to wheel spin. The only disappointing part is that in this cluster mode, you can't see the tachometer, so I'm going to change it again. And this speed warning, it actually hides the tachometer in one of the modes, and otherwise the tachometer is not seen only. The Skoda has not really given much importance to the tachometer. This is one of the modes, this is another mode, and yeah, as soon, okay, speed warning comes, there, the tachometer vanishes, which is very disappointing. Now what Skoda has done is, they've actually made the Octavia into a Superb because this is more Superb than the last generation Octavia. Yeah, the suspension is really very soft, which bodes really well for ride quality. The engine is super duper smooth as well. The quality of the cabin is also really very nice. So they are actually aiming more towards luxury than sportiness. Then I wonder why is the Superb there in the first place, because this feels like it's more towards the Superb, and that's a bit disappointing because although the steering offers decent amount of feel and feedback, it is not the most responsive, not the most fun as such, and so is the overall chassis too, because the suspension is soft, so it rolls a lot around the corners. That said, ride quality is actually very nice indeed. It absorbs almost everything in its stride without any hiccup whatsoever. But the problem is when you go higher speeds, now the car kind of feels a bit floaty, and that float can be felt specifically over expansion joints as well. Meanwhile, like, I love the brakes on the car, although because of soft suspension, slight amount of nosedive also happens, but for the most part, I don't have much to complain about because sure for its stopping power, for sure. And off we go. The irony of the situation is that Skoda actually has a slew of powertrain options globally, including diesel. By the way, the 2-liter diesel, the TDI, is still there abroad, but not offered in India, which is kind of surprising because the Octavia was very popular because of its diesel engine. Fuel efficiency, I think ARI rated is around 15.8 kilometers per liter, 15.81 kilometers per liter, somewhere whereabouts, which isn't very impressive considering that 1 liter of fuel now costs rupees 100. That's absolutely mind-bogglingly stupid, the cost of fuel. But then that's how it is. A diesel would have been a really nice addition because it's going to be competing with a slew of SUVs in this price range, and most of them are equipped with a diesel engine. So Skoda really needs to bring diesel back. This engine is fantastic without a doubt, but the problem is it doesn't complement the freaking chassis of the vehicle because the chassis and the suspension is soft, so it doesn't really excite you when it comes to the handling characteristic, something which wasn't the case with the third generation of the Octavia. So they are going soft, and this is the future of cars. More comfort, smoother, and definitely less of a soul, less enthusiastic as well. So the Octavia no longer will appeal to the enthusiast, but Skoda has you covered because they're going to get the RS variant, which will cost even more than the current RS, or rather the RS which was just on sale recently, the RS 245, because that's going to be coming via the CBU route. So as I see it, the Octavia has become really very mature, very polished, very smooth, very refined, premium as well. Overall quality, space, everything, Skoda has nailed it. But what they have done in new is soften the car, remove the driving fun factor just to make it easier to drive and more comfortable. And I don't know if you like that, but I am personally not a fan of cars which are soft because the Superb is there for the same reason. Now, of course, the pricing is going to play a key factor. Skoda is all about value for money, but this car is going to cost almost 35 lakhs on road Mumbai. So the ex-showroom price should be between 25 to 30 lakhs. There are two variants on offer. There's the Style and there is the L&K. And the L&K, in spite of having the L&K badge and the most premium variant of Skoda, doesn't have a slew of features which I've already spoken about. The one which pinches the most is a sunroof. Yeah, there is no sunroof in this car. There are no headlight washers and a lot of features which are actually offered abroad. So I don't know how that happened, but yeah, you kind of miss them. At this price, you expect Skoda to offer a lot more.
What was that sound?
I think some tire hua truck ka. So the launch program works fantastically well each and every given moment. The only thing is these paddle shifters are kind of useless because it doesn't let you hold on to a gear. It will upshift when it decides to do so, which is kind of disappointing because I want to hold on to a gear. That would be so amazing. But engine, refinement, smoothness, gearbox shift, everything is just fantabulous. But then I also miss drive modes. Why are there no drive modes on offer? Which is again disappointing because a car of this price and range should definitely offer drive modes as well. Meanwhile, when I see the comparison of this car with other vehicles, there isn't much in the market because the Civic has been discontinued, the Elantra is kind of old, and the Elantra is not up to the same level of the Octavia, but the pricing is also very much aggressive from Hyundai's side, which although Skoda also believes in aggressive pricing, this car is just a level up, a slight level up in terms of overall fit, finish, quality, and of course some amount of features as well. In fact, this is underpinned by the MQB platform, the same platform which underpinned the previous generation of the Octavia, but here the difference is that they have gone even better in terms of ride and smoothness. So yeah, it's an updated version of the MQB platform taking a U-turn. Yeah, it is, everything is so easy and convenient in this car. It's kind of baffling and shocking and a little bit disappointing for enthusiasts. But then you're going to be comparing this car with the Mercedes A-Class and the BMW 2 Series, and in front of those cars, obviously the Octavia offers a better value for money pick, but then you don't buy those cars for the value for money or for what the cars are per se, but for their logos respectively. Although the new A-Class is absolutely fantastic, offering a lot more kit than before. Now this is front wheel drive and that's the reason you hear so much wheel spin, but you know what, Skoda also offers four-wheel drive, but then all this is limited to the European market. And obviously Skoda doesn't sell anything in the US because they're not present there. So that is how I sum this up. The Octavia is a great car. The only thing is it's become more mature now, and I don't think whether that is a good thing, because the people who want a mature sedan opt to get the Superb instead. If you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys. I'm just downshifting for fun, but bye bye.